Transitional employment is an innovative idea that is starting to take hold in private industry all over North America. At Laidlaw, we want the best for our employees. That's why we are among the first large-scale companies to provide this benefit. We want our injured employees to get the best medical care possible so that they can get better quickly and return to work as soon as they can. This way, everybody wins: Laidlaw, our supervisors, and our employees.
I appreciate you coming with me today. I'm always a little nervous with the new route. Boy, is that mirror out of whack. Bob, can you... Oh, never mind, I'll do it. Oh!
Jill, are you all right?
My back. I think I wrenched my back.
How bad is it?
Pretty bad.
You sit tight. I'm going to find somebody to run you down to the clinic, and I can do your route for you. Just try to relax and take it easy.
I want you to think about something. I want you to think about what you do when somebody gets hurt on the job. What goes through your mind? Do you think, what am I going to do now? How am I going to get the job done? Where am I going to find a replacement?
Hello, this is Bob. I'm going to need the numbers of all of our substitute drivers. Yeah, we've had a little accident here this morning, and I'm going to need some help. What? Yeah, I'll hold.
What about Jill?
Huh?
Jill, the employee who was injured? What are you going to do about her?
I sent her to the doctor.
But what are you going to do now?
Well, that's out of my hands. It's up to the doctor. There's nothing more I can do.
Without the supervisor there to give input, without the supervisor communicating, the doctor has a tendency to send that employee home.
It's important for the supervisors to understand that returning an injured person to work has great therapeutic value. For us, it helps them recover faster.
The biggest favor I think that a supervisor can do for an employee is to be open to bring that employee back immediately after an injury.
Okay, what can I do?
You have some job description forms for Jill's position. Do you know where they are?
They're filed away somewhere. Let me see, where did I put them?
Don't you realize that unless the doctor knows what Jill's job entails, he has no way of knowing whether she can return to work or not?
Okay, here we go. I found it. So what do I do? Fax this to the doctor?
Why not take it to him?
Take it to him?
Why not go to the clinic with Jill so you can talk directly with the doctor and see if there's some work Jill can still do?
Oh, come on. I've got to find somebody to cover her route. Plus, I've got my own work to do.
And you need Jill to help you do it, right?
Okay. Let me get somebody to drive her bus, and then I'll head on down to the clinic. Maybe they haven't left yet.
Okay, I want you to go home and take it easy for a couple of days, and I want you to make sure you come back and see me sometime next week so I can see how you're doing, all right?
Okay, I guess.
Excuse me, doctor. I'm Bob Bissell,
Hi.
Jill's supervisor. How's she doing?
She's doing all right. She seems to have sprained her lower back, but it's nothing to worry about. She should be back to work in no time at all.
Did you get a chance to look at the job description? I sent it along with her.
Yes, I did get it. Thank you very much.
I was wondering, doctor, do you think there's any way that Jill could come back to work today? She won't be lifting anything or driving any of the buses, but I'm sure that there's a lot of work she could do.
How do you feel about that?
I'd just as soon get back to work if I could. I hate sitting around.
Okay, I'm going to write up a list of things I do not want you to do. After that, it's up to you two, okay?
Thanks, Doc.
You can do that for the employees you supervise, right? Okay, I realize it's not always that easy. You're probably asking, what if the injury is more serious?
Hi, Mrs. Fletcher. Were you able to get everything you needed today?
Yes, I did. Thank you. I'm ready to go home now.
Let me get you inside and I'll grab your groceries. There you go, ma'am. All set?
Driver, you forgot the kitty litter on the bottom of the cart.
Oh, son of a gun. Sorry about that. I'll just run out and grab it and we'll be on our way.
Morning, Joe. You look like you've seen better days.
Yeah, I have. I got a really bad lower back strain. Doctor said I won't be back to normal for a couple of months.
Enjoying the time off?
Oh, yeah. First week was okay, but it's getting old, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know just what you mean.
Hey, Sue, have you seen those duty restriction forms the doctor sent over?
I was just looking at it. That's a pretty extensive list of restrictions.
It's not like I'm dead. I mean, if I...
Look, Joe, I'm not sure I can find a job here that will allow for all these restrictions. Besides, I have my policies to consider.
Where do we go from here?
Honestly, I have to give it some thought. Let me talk it over with my boss before I can give you an answer. Give me a few days and I'll call you.
So I guess I just wait to hear from you.
Hey, thanks for coming in. It was good seeing you again. You get some rest and you'll be better in no time. I'll see you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
So what are you going to do?
Well, what do you expect me to do? I'd like to help him, but we don't have any kind of job that allows for a work-modified assignment.
Why not?
We don't bring people back until they're fully recovered. That's just the way it is. I'd like to help him do something, but it's not policy.
Our policy at Laidlaw Transit is to get every worker back on the job, at least in a transitional duty, as soon as possible.
I have talked to hundreds of supervisors who have believed it's their company's policy not to bring workers back to work early. But in all the years I've worked with companies, I've never seen one company who had that as a written policy. I think what happens is we have companies who usually don't bring them back, and then supervisors assume that that must be policy. But it's not true. It's not true at all. In fact, if it were your organization's policy not to bring injured workers back early, they probably wouldn't be showing you this film.
Okay. Maybe it is policy, but even so, I can't afford to have someone like this working in the workplace with a badly injured back. I'm only thinking about his safety. What if he gets hurt again, this time only worse? Look, I'm sorry. I want him back, but not until he's fully 100% recovered.
A lot of supervisors think that if you bring an employee back to work early, that it's somehow going to inhibit their recovery. That's simply not the case. In hundreds of documented studies, an early return to the productive job usually helps the recovery. There's always the chance for re-injury, but that's why the doctor, the employee, and the supervisor all work together to design job duties around the employee's abilities.
Fine. Maybe it is policy, and maybe it would help him to recover faster, but you still don't get it. Bottom line, I can't bring him back because I have nothing for him to do. I don't have a job for him. Oh, come on.
One of the most important resources that are now becoming available to the average supervisor to help them bring injured workers back to work is the transitional employment team.
Transitional employment team is a group of people who work together to come up with these transitional employment assignments. That may include you, someone from human resources, from safety and health, an occupational health nurse.
There are people who can help you, but first you have to let them.
Okay, which brings us back to a point. He won't be able to do much with his back out for at least 2 months. No lifting, no reaching, no driving.
Is there any way he can work with some of our other drivers, help them develop the same kind of rapport he has with our customers?
Oh, I guess he could, yeah.
He knows more about coordinating pickups than anyone. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
What can we do to put those skills to work for us?
What if we had him work with the dispatchers? He can help us improve efficiency, eliminate customer complaints. What do you think about that?
What do you think of that?
Okay, I'll find him a job. One that helps him get better faster and helps me get my job done. And it turns out it is policy. Well, that should work out fine. I'll give him a call tomorrow and the 4 of us can get together and see what we can do with it. Thanks for your input.
Sure. Great. Thank you.
What are you thinking now?
Don't hang any more signs on me. Hear me out. What about the other employees? They may have a problem with that, don't you think?
What kind of problem?
You know, it's unfair. they'll have to pull more of the workload. He'll do less work.
Interesting point. Why don't you ask them?
Say, Bill.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about bringing Joe back on a transitional duty assignment. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't care.
Well, his back is still pretty bad, and you may have to do some of his work.
Well, I'm sure Joe would do the same for me. Why don't we get him in here, and I'm sure he can do something.
Goal of transitional employment is the word transition. We want to transition that worker back to their old job. That's the goal of transitional employment. And the transitional employment plan does that. It's a bridge between the injury and coming back to the old job. It's a bridge.
There's still something bothering you about this. What is it?
What if, after we've gone through all this trouble, that Joe still doesn't want to come back to work?
What do you mean?
Well, let's be realistic. I mean, not everybody wants to come back to work. Some people prefer to stay home and collect a paycheck. I mean, it happens all the time.
Of course, there are employees who would prefer to stay home and receive a comp check. But for the majority of Laidlaw employees, they want to get back to work and be productive. And a transitional assignment is a way for that to happen. But before that can happen, we have to offer them that job.
It's true. Not everybody wants to work if they don't have to. But transitional duty is a proactive alternative. It helps them and it helps you. However, there is one more situation we should take a look at.
Oh, geez, you think they'd pay attention? Stop turning the key while the motor's running. Yep, that flywheel is shot. Oh, and I don't got time to rebuild this and reinstall it today. Lou, look at this. Look what the driver did to the starter on number 5. It's gonna take me a good day to fix this, if I can fix it at all. Plus, I got 2 other buses out waiting for engine parts. How about I get one of their starters, steal it for number 5?
That's no way to do things. Look, I think we have a Hercules starter in the back room that should be compatible with that. Why don't you go get it? And then if we can't fix this, why, we'll just scrap it.
I don't remember any other starters in the back room. Are you sure?
No, it's on one of the top shelves behind the... Oh, wait. Look, just give me a few minutes to finish what I'm doing, and then I'll come back and I'll help you find it.
Come on, Lou, I haven't got all day. Wonder which shelf he meant. Oh, geez, I don't have time for this.
Some injuries are so severe that a worker is permanently partially disabled. What do you do then? In the past, a disabled worker rarely, if ever, returned to work. But that doesn't have to be the case.
No, I'll be right there. Ken, good to see you. How are things going for you?
Oh, better. Of course, I'm still in this thing. But hopefully not for too much longer.
No kidding.
Yeah, he told me I'll be walking with a cane in a couple months.
Well, that sounds great. So, what can I do for you?
Well, the doctor says there's no reason I shouldn't start thinking about coming back to work.
But I thought he said you'd never have full use of that leg again.
That's right, but that's no reason I can't work. As a matter of fact, he gave me this brochure. Said I should ask for a reasonable accommodation or something like that. Do you know what he's talking about?
No.
Reasonable accommodation is a term that we get from the Americans with Disabilities Act. It's a responsibility that employers have towards employees who have disabilities. What it says is that if you have an employee with a disability and they can do the essential functions of their job but need a reasonable accommodation to do those functions, that the employer is obligated to provide that reasonable accommodation.
Reasonable accommodation is any change in the working environment or even in the way the work is done that enables a person with a disability, including a person who may be injured and have permanent limitations, enables them to perform their job at full productivity.
So what do you do?
I don't have a clue. I mean, the man's gonna need a cane.
So?
So, he's a mechanic. What's the deal? Laidlaw's not gonna run out and spend tons of money on special equipment just for him. Look, I'd like to help the man, but it just costs too much.
80% of the reasonable accommodations cost less than $500. And the most common accommodations cost nothing.
Okay, but even if there is something less expensive, I'm just a supervisor. I don't know about that stuff. I'd like to help, but I just don't know how.
A lot of supervisors feel like they just don't have the expertise it takes to provide reasonable accommodation when it's requested of them. There is help available.
Every state has an organization called vocational rehabilitation that has people that can help. There's a 1-800 number that is called the Job Accommodation Network that anyone can call.
One of the best resources for good ideas about reasonable accommodation is the injured employee themselves. Again, they know their job as well as anyone. They also know their limitations.
So what happened with Tom?
So I did what you said. Talked to some people, read some magazines, and came up with some answers. In the meantime, Ken got out of his chair, got his cane, and, well, see for yourself. He's right over there.
Right now, as you hear these words, there are injured employees sitting at home. They'd like to be back at work. It'd lift their spirits and help them get better. And there's work for them to do, work that wouldn't risk another injury, work that needs to be done. What keeps most of these employees at home is usually a supervisor, who I'm sure honestly believes he or she is doing the right thing. Do that employee and Laidlaw a favor. Don't let that supervisor be you.